Right on time, we have OriginClear. OriginClear is a fully reporting company trading on the OTC pink sheets under the
Good job.
symbol, oh, under the symbol OCLN. So to say this company makes water systems is like saying Amazon sells books. OriginClear is solving water filtration problems at the municipality level. Today we have with us Riggs Eckelberry, OriginClear's CEO. Riggs, are you on with us?
Anna, it's a great pleasure being on board.
Welcome, Riggs. All right, take it away.
Thank you very much, Anna. Well, and I was actually fascinated by the last presenter, so I'm a good spectator too, I guess. Yes, well, you made a very good point about us being more than water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly cycle through this presentation and also give some, off the fly comments. So here we go. We call ourselves the global blue phenomenon. Why the heck do we call ourselves that? So let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, of course, the usual safe harbor statement stuff, which your viewers have seen before. So I'll just rip through that. Thank you very much. And now we have a video that is actually Casey is going to play for us from the conference. So that is a quick look at some of the problems that are facing us in water. A lot of people have an instinctive idea that water is a problem, but they don't really know what to do about it. You know, I hear a lot about, well, Flint, Michigan, what can we do, and so forth. Well, there are solutions. And as this slide shows, we have a water crisis. Actually, 20 years from now, we will have 50% more demand for water than there is supply. And the least favored among us are going to suffer the most. So moving along here, sanitation, of course, is terrible. And 1 out of 3 humans do not have safe water. It's a bigger number than shown here. And we actually have a lot of problems in the US from things like septic tanks that infect the groundwater. And I think we've gotten a lot more aware of bacteria and viruses recently, and septic tanks are a source of major viral contamination. And of course, this is what's weird. Only 1/5 of all the sewage in the world is actually treated. The rest of it, mostly into the ocean, and 30% of the toxic waste. That is a scandal. So that's really our mission here. The US, we have, look at all these Safe Drinking Water Act violations. If you go to ewg.org, environmentalworkinggroup.org, and put in your zip code, you will be amazed to see what is going on in your hometown. So we have, what we like to say about the United States is the water will not kill you immediately, but it's not great. Now, meanwhile, 2020 hit us, and of course, there was a huge crash. In proportion, it was worse than the economic crash of the Spanish flu. Spanish flu killed more people, but it had less of an economic impact because we were less interconnected back then. Today, of course, we're all basically one economy. So what does that mean? Well, businesses have lost a lot of, I've heard, for example, in Los Angeles, 100,000 restaurants have closed in one metro. This is a human disaster. Now, these are good people, good entrepreneurs. It was no fault of their own that they got shut down, and here they are. But guess what? Water has its own quote unquote silver tsunami. So we need, 3 million workers in this decade alone. And so we've devised something called Water as a Career. Water as a Career basically is our answer. Let me talk about that in a second. All right, we want the government to help out. Well, what's going on with that? Unfortunately, the government is not helping. Since 1960, things have only gotten worse. Today, the federal government only contributes 9% to the cost of treating water at cities and counties. And they're on their own, and they're not rich. In fact, many of them are in Stockton's position of being in deep trouble. So this means that this is like your old Toyota Celica that you keep throwing oil into as opposed to fixing. That's what we're doing with our water systems, and it's resulting in a failure to handle the problem. It's getting $100 billion worse each year. And yes, everybody in Washington wants infrastructure bills, but do they happen? That's another story, and that's a lot to catch up. You know, we're getting into the trillions by now. Well, the answer then is end users. Increasingly, because of rising water rates, because of course of all the breakdowns, and also cities just not being able to handle the toxic waste because they're, you know, overcapacity, broken mains, and all that stuff. Decentralized water treatment is the new thing. And this is what it kind of looks like. We have, as you can see, each of these locations has its own wastewater treatment plant, and that allows the downstream central wastewater treatment plant to be much smaller. And this is a good thing. Make the polluter, quote unquote, treat the water. That way it doesn't have to be taken up. You know, in the 50s, we were all about central. I remember lining up I'm old enough to have lined up at a mainframe, a telex machine to wait my time. We were junior to the central facility. Today, everything is you. You control it, your iPhone, your cell phone, etc. Same thing with water. Okay, so that means there's business opportunities. Imagine, for example, that this building at the top of the picture here needs a new pure water system. Well, we want to let what we call waterpreneurs go and sell those systems. But there's a hook there, because how do they sell a system that might cost, I don't know, $150,000 to $200,000? That's a slow sale, but we're solving that. Okay, so as a result, we've launched this. We've got a wonderful pilot which you can look at on OriginClear.com with an escapee from the COVID mess, and he started a business, very happy, and he's got one of these pool preservers running, and now he's expanding out into, well, it's all very well to bring a mobile pool preserver for a residential home. These are basically they basically do a recirculation cleanup of the pool to make it literally premium water. You could drink it in your expensive filtered water system, but it's the entire pool. Well, what about million-gallon pools, hotels and stuff like that, municipal pools? He is also getting into that, which is more of a static system. We just got an order for our first trailer park lagoon treatment system, so that's moving. And we have, if you go on our site again, you will see stories about what we're doing in Spain with farm manure. Very exciting. So these are also being given a human angle by enabling these waterpreneurs to have internal funding. We've worked out how to fund these people, and here's the story of Ryan Kuster I was just telling you about. And moving on to the business model, we've worked it all out. We know how you make money, and it's very simple. You rent the machine for let's say $3,000 a month. It's the different prices depending on the different machines, and you're making $600, $700 each day that you treat a pool. That stuff adds up. So it's a very good business, and Ryan is extremely happy, as you can see on the website. Now, also we're helping these waterpreneurs market themselves, and of course, services are in a boom right now. Strangely enough, because of COVID, it's not just Amazon sales, it's services, and the water service business is really tracking well. Okay, so moving on here, we've built a whole career builder program, teach you about how to run the systems, how to run the business, how to market yourself, etc. And that is the basic water career program. Now let's just pull it together here. OriginClear, we have a great facility in Texas. We have a team in Virginia as well. Corporate is in Florida, but most of the people are in Texas. And let's say that they answer a need with a custom design, what's called an engineered solution. All right, usually that's a one-off. You build it, you move away, it's all good. But often we go, well, can this be a product? Can we standardize it? We sold a pure water system to a premium high-end hotel, one of the finest in the world being built now. And there was a one-off, but now we're turning it into a product because all hotels, I believe, need premium water, not just in a bottle and a dresser, but also in the shower, because ladies, you don't want that chlorine water in your hair. And of course, in the kitchen, because you'd like clean water for your stew and so forth. So can it be a product? Can it be a career builder? And then move on to that economies of production and scale, build the career builder package if necessary. Now, if you have good credit, go to what, we'll help you with the leasing companies. We're not going to try and give you a leasing package. Why? These are billion-dollar companies. They know how to lease at very, very low rates. Let them do their thing. We'll add the services package. And now we're in a pilot, and this is going very, very well, where we fund the equipment rental for people who don't qualify for standard financing. And this is a growing program, very exciting, that we're, it's really water treatment as a service. Okay. And there is also a way eventually that investors will be able to fund directly a project. So let's say, for example, that hotel system that's we're about to deliver, an investor might have funded it and be the direct beneficiary of that one site. That's down the road. That's something that is much more complex. For now, we're doing it for our own customers, for our own waterpreneurs, with our own capital. And then moving on, we of course have the managed services. Yeah, this is full outsourcing. Again, that hotel, it does not need to worry about its pure water system. It's going to have its membranes changed, all that good stuff taken care of. That's called managed services, and that's what they want, really. And then finally, we have potential double-digit returns for the asset owner, in this case, us. So again, we are doing this program and we're building OriginClear Finance as a way to do all this internally. Our own capital, we just received a major commitment for capital into that fund. Our own customers, our own waterpreneurs. Eventually, it opens up to the world, and that's when it gets really exciting. Okay, now we have a wonderful partnership with a group called Philanthro Investors. My good friend Ivan Ans is actually listening to this presentation, and he's very excited about this. What they have done is they've opened up our footprint to the world. Philanthro Investors has this philosophy of, yeah, make money, but invest with a purpose. Don't just make money for money, do things that are great. And so we're getting a lot of help from them in terms of they're bringing us amazing relationships throughout their network, and it's helping us build this big capital fund we're talking about. Okay, so they have these various services. I won't go deeply into it, but they do a great job. And as I say, they're a strategic partner of ours. They, in their real estate venture, they've gotten on the Inc. 5000. They're actually number 83, 4,000% growth. And they're helping us do the same thing in water. So this is really a wonderful partnership. And again, I'm going to continue here. So let's talk a little bit about this marketplace. We're getting more and more demand from investors to invest in our marketplace, our OriginClear Finance program. Why? Because there's just not enough yield from conventional investments because of what's happening. Dollar crash, got yes, no, who knows? But what we know for sure is inflation is on the way. That means you got to make money from money a lot. You got to generate cash as you go and have a big upside. And we present that. So we're getting a lot of real estate investors who were literally able, and this is one of the brilliant things that we came across just by complete coincidence, that we take the actual asset. And if it's a good asset, we're able to leverage it or sell it or whatever. And the real estate investor gets a good, potentially a good tax benefit. It's a win-win for everyone. We think, of course, it has much better returns than real estate investment trusts, private equity, or venture capital. That, of course, is something we'll have to prove over time, but the models are excellent. And guess what? We're doing good. We're not just, doing garment or whatever. I love good garment, but here we're actually helping the world with better health for everyone. And it's a huge space. Assets under management by 2034 will be $150 trillion. That's huge. Okay. Now, when we have individual investors going into individual properties, they'll get accelerated depreciation. Currently, because we're doing it for ourselves, you get benefits for being within the fund. Connect with us and we'll tell you all about that. All right, so very simple. This is our own internal program. We direct capital to equipment rentals. And by the way, they're not just rental. We're moving more and more into pay per the gallon, just like your ordinary city meter, right? We get the qualified candidates, get the double-digit returns. And now I'm talking about these waterpreneurs, but it also can be us selling to a conventional user. We keep the title. That builds our base because guess what? We need assets to uplist eventually to the NASDAQ, and this helps us. And also we have better security if we hold on to the equipment. And this equipment has a 25 to 30-year life. And eventually we're going to roll it out into a public investor marketplace. And that's the future, but very exciting. So basically we're a new kind of water company. We've invested millions of dollars to build layered capabilities. Our team in Texas, our modular water systems technology, our productizing capability, water as a career, the OriginClear finance program, etc. And this is what we call the OriginClear Wave. There's a picture of our Texas manufacturing site, our modular technology, and of course, you can, how can you get involved? Well, there's a couple slides here. We offer what's called a corporate bond. We don't want you to buy, if you're a big an accredited investor, please don't go and buy our common stock. Instead, get some leverage. You get a bond, which means you get paid to wait. And this has been updated. We actually do all stock, but we will discuss that with you. This is slightly out of date because we're offering you essentially, this is the centerpiece. When you invest, you get to redeem your investment for double in stock at any time, while you get the current dividend is 10% all cash, which is better than 8% cash, 4% stock, 10% all cash. So you get paid to wait. Redeem your investment at any time at the later price, so you're protected from the stock going down eventually if it does. And it's a $100,000 unit, but you can invest less. Please be accredited or an offshore investor. So why would you invest? Well, you're going to help us eventually develop what we call the Airbnb for water, this direct investment marketplace, which is really how we'll solve the world's water problems. We have this process, a modular portable process that can drive this, what we call micro water systems. You get paid to wait with your double-digit dividends and convert to stock at the time is right. And so now you're, relatively safe, and you become a water philanthropy investor, invest with a purpose. So that's, we also have an unaccredited program. I won't get into it, but it's on our website. You can select it if you're not accredited. We welcome your investment. And I'm not going to spend much more time on this, but the history of the company is basically, we've been in the business since 2007. We've learned a lot of lessons. We have, our early history in algae-based biofuels, which of course fell apart when the cost of oil crashed, and all of a sudden algae was a what we call a science experiment. So we pivoted into water, and that's when we moved into the acquisition of Progressive Water Treatment in Texas, a great company that's now 25 years old. And we showed that our technology could do its thing, got a bunch of awards. We eliminate Roundup, all kinds of wonderful things. And throughout all this, we're like, wait a minute, why is this stuff not really driving better conditions in the water industry? And so fast forward all the way to 2020, we realized it's the funding, stupid. you have to, in order for people to quickly adopt your technology, just let them sign on the dotted line and start using and pay as they go. And this is really what's called, some people call water as a service. It is managed services. It's water on demand, as we call it. And that's the new thing. So this is really the new trend, and we believe it's going to scale up very, very quickly. So again, I don't want to get into too much of this because I want to be able to answer some questions, but we have far lower risk than buying stock on the market. It's a corporate bond. Returns are very high. Again, a 10% cash dividend, 200% redemption. And instead of the stock grant, we now have a multiple warrants, which is a better way to go when the stock is going up as it is now. And of course, long-term capital gains. If you hold, you get your strong cash flow, and it's inflation resistant because of that dividend that's paid. Now, the investment generates cash against a fixed dollar investment, and you also have that upside of the redemption, the 200% redemption. And of course, you do not have to worry. All investments are passive, and we'll take care of the managed services, and you get the rewards. If you're a large investor, then $1 million plus, you can invest directly into our OriginClear Finance Fund, and you will have a security ownership in that subsidiary. Happy to discuss that with you. Eventually, we'll get into an end-to-end solution for the world. In other words, open it up to others, because one company can't change everything, but we can offer the marketplace to do so. And of course, leave a legacy. And this is a weird digit, 10, fulfilling cash flow. All right. So how do you contact us? Well, my amazing co-strategist, Ken Berenger, who helped us develop all this, is available. And you can just grab an appointment with him at oc.gold/Ken. Just put that in your browser and you'll schedule a call. And through the magic of Calendly, you'll be able to talk to him. Or just call us up, 877-440-4603. Ken's at extension 201. Devin, my assistant, is at extension 116. Or just send an email to invest@originclear.com. Usual disclaimer, of course, this is a Regulation D offering, which means it has not been passed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and it does involve risk, as all security investments do. If you go into our unaccredited investment round, which is very good, earns 10% per year, and then when we pay you back, when we're ready to pay you back, we give you 150% of your investment. Just go to our website and you will be able, at the top, invest now, and tell the little robot that you're not accredited, and you'll be able to invest in that. It's a great little package and a $500 minimum. So those are all the notices. I've completed my presentation, and I would love to open this up to questions. Well, since I don't have any questions, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about emerging things that are happening in the company beyond this presentation. And that is that the whole concept of water on demand is now becoming the sole focus of OriginClear. And in the weeks to come, you will see the OriginClear site really specialize on making it possible for end users to get water systems without having to come up with capital. And that's extremely exciting. It's a direction that the entire water industry is moving in. We believe we're a pioneer. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So Anna, how did you like it?
Loved it. Sorry, my internet, I lost my internet. I just got back on.
Oh, well then.
But we do have some questions for you, Riggs.
Oh, good, because I was going to start the entire presentation again for you.
No, we're all good. So some of these might be redundant, but these are the questions from our attendees. Currently, how many systems do you have out there now?
Oh, well, Progressive Water, as I say, has been in business for 25 years. So, it's into the thousands by now. I just at a guess, we install we do systems between $50,000 and $2 million. The biggest we did was a system for Xcel Energy up north. But in that range, we do maybe 20 or 30 of these every month. So that gives you a scale of what we do. Now, these are conventional engineered solutions. You know, I need a system for blah, blah. And then we talk to them for months and months and months and months and months and months. And then they pay and they install it. It's called design and build. Now, the last part of it is own and operate, design, build, own and operate. So what I've been talking to you about is really where we also own and operate. So when somebody comes to us, I need it so and so and so, fine, no problem. Instead of talking for months and trying to get the capital deal done and bidding with others, we've taken care of it. So just sign here, and you'll pay by the gallon. And that turns us from a salesperson into a white knight, and that's the exciting new thing.
Fantastic. A little more questions about your revenue model. So someone wants you to explain your revenue model a little bit more specifically. You stated that you're leased. Are they leased to own, and what to make after the initial sale?
Very good question. So the legacy model we have, and again, this engineered solutions model, is you buy it, you pay us, you go away. But this new model of water on demand is you're outsourcing your water problem to us. So yes, somebody's paying for the machine. It's our fund. So that means that we're really doing money for money. It could be rental, but more and more we're moving towards a pay-per-use model, which is depends very much on how much you use it, right? Just like people at home on their meter. Well, businesses can have a meter and do their own private water treatment. So, and then the third, the second part of it is Progressive Water operating the site so that it's not a problem for the end user. Because if you got a brewery and you want to treat your water, you don't want to have the hassle of doing the water treatment. Let somebody do it. And the final piece, of course, is the supplies and service contract. So this massively increases the revenue, pay for use, managed services, service contract. And as companies like Microsoft and Salesforce.com have learned, you pay by the month, you pay much more. But the end user likes it. Why? Because Microsoft and Salesforce.com and OriginClear are accountable. Is this thing being done exactly to the service level agreement, the SLA? If not, then I'm not paying. And that is an accountability that people love. So that's the model that's moving towards, and I believe it's going to be much richer.
Are you moving towards residential or only focused mainly on commercial applications?
Again, wonderful question. Residential is not yet, and the reason is very simple. Municipalities have not really failed to supply water to homes. Many people say to me, what's the problem? I turn my faucet, the water goes on. I flush my toilet, the water goes away. It's a problem that businesses, a lot of businesses can't do it. They're literally having their sewage being refused. But there's still a problem with the quality of the incoming water into homes. We'll get to that, but that is a very, very competitive business. It's highly commoditized. So we're sticking to business, industrial, agricultural, commercial users.
Makes sense. Now, is there any government subsidized help that you're able to access on the state level?
Yes, but the issue generally is that it's slow, right? It's very slow moving. The enemy of the water business is time, because we spend, well, look, that hotel deal I was talking about with that premium hotel, it took us 1.5 years to do the deal. The chief engineer met with us at the hotel headquarters at one of the hotels on Sunset Strip back when we actually could go to a hotel and hang out. And he was like, okay, I'm sold. And literally after that, he was herding cats. It took 1.5 years. The point I'm making is that whether it's a grant or it's the company's own capital, it's a long process. So in general, we're happy to go with subsidizing and so forth, but we think it's faster to use private money to raise funds, and the cost of money these days is very low, so we can just solve problems. Now, if a municipality has its own bond money and wants to spend it, we do a lot of that. We work with we do whole cities, I mean small cities, but we do cities, and that's part of our business. It's just very slow moving.
Are you active in Canada? And if not, do you want to be?
That's very good. Well, we do have Canadian customers, but I would say um, generally our international business out of Texas is we do a lot of embassies. So we do a lot for the U.S. State Department, and so we might be in Honduras and Dubai or whatever, doing that for the State Department, and we're also talking with we're in a close partnership with a provider of potable water systems for the military and government agencies like FEMA. To they did the Puerto Rico rescue a few years ago with the hurricane, and there's discussions like that with countries like Canada. That's about as much as I can say.
All right. So, do you see the pool preserver as a viable business for seasonal Midwest markets?
Well, the pool preserver is only the first of three. As I showed you, the pool preserver is great for where there's pools, which is Arizona, the southern band, and going down to Florida. But Wisconsin maybe not so much. But there's many animal farms in Wisconsin, for example, and also throughout the country, especially south of the Mason-Dixon line, we have a tremendous number of trailer parks. They still have antiquated sanitation. It's called lagoons. They have literally wastewater lagoons. The the authorities are clamping down on that because rightly so. There needs to be this is 100-year-old sanitation systems that are now being upgraded, and we can upgrade them. We're also doing a lot of that for campgrounds and RV operations, which of course are booming these days, providing proper sanitation even when it's not connected to sewage.
Fantastic. The last question is, do you have any press releases that are upcoming and when are they expected?
Oh, you wanted some hints. Well, okay, so there's several things happening. We have a series of product releases out of our Texas operation, very exciting new products. But the most exciting thing that's coming that you'll be hearing more about, and you're the first to hear this really, is that we have this, focusing on our business in water on demand and OriginClear really providing that upfront funding and managed services, and not necessarily working with just our Texas company, but all kinds of water companies. And we think that's going to be very exciting. So that's the future. I would like your listeners to please come to my Thursday night briefings every Thursday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Just go to oc.gold/CEO. Just go to originclear.com, click CEO, you'll see it. And I'd love to have you, and you can ask more questions then.
All right, Riggs, thank you. We do have a few more minutes, so if you would like to make any closing remarks, please have the floor, and then we will take a quick break.
Thank you. Well, okay, so here's I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I and some of the other people in OriginClear came into this business. Many of us were not in the water industry. So what did that mean? That means that we came to the water industry mostly from high tech. I was in the .com, accustomed to very fast disruption. I built a consulting business called Tech Transform, which monetized these software companies, and usually they were disruptive. So you had to, sort of crack the nut of disruption. But the payoff was rapid. We arrived in the water industry and we found ourselves moving very, very slowly. Pace of change was not there. Obviously, because public health, et cetera. But nonetheless, water has a real problem in the world. So how can we do things in a safe way, but at the same time speed things up and achieve a high-tech disruption? Well, it's by adopting a high-tech model, which is what's called managed services with network operations centers, and you're tracking all your sites and then the sensors, and it has to be such and such a level of purity or else you don't get paid, all that stuff. Well, that is a high-tech model that's well developed, and we're tapping into that expertise now to bring people in who are going to help us do this. And we think that this is going to lead to a tremendous amount more adoption. Remember, only 1/5 of the water in the world, the dirty water in the world, is treated. Well, how about we raise that? Now that 1/5 accounts for it's $1 trillion industry. So if you can move towards the full amount, well, theoretically that's 5 trillion. So this is a $1 trillion industry that should be a $5 trillion industry. If we can, kick it up a notch, really get some change happening, move the needle, as they say in the VC world, then we're actually going to get real change. It directly affects human health. And of course, we think this will make OriginClear a wonderful play. As I mentioned earlier, we have plans to get onto the NASDAQ. It's a ways away. I'm not saying it's going to happen immediately, but we now have a path to do that because we have investors coming in to this OriginClear Finance project, which is being built, and they're bringing assets. And assets is the number one thing that you need on the NASDAQ, in addition to a workable business model, which we think we have. So I've become really excited about OriginClear being the kind of high-tech, big blow-up thing that we were accustomed to in high-tech pre-2000 and post-2000, but still do it with really good integrity and public health. And it's becoming a lot of fun. I really, would love to have your listeners come on board, invest, listen, support us, buy our stock if you like. It's perfectly okay. But above all, be around, be fans, sign up for our newsletter. I think it's gonna be an exciting time ahead.
Thank you so much, Riggs. What an important endeavor you are embarking upon, and happy to be here sharing this important news. Thank you for your presentation.
Anna, thank you so much. And I wish the rest of your panelists a great presentation.
Thank you. All right, everyone.